Like any other ball club, the Dodgers are made of sights and sounds.
I thought Walter O'Malley was probably the finest and most knowledgeable man in baseball.
1-0 to Russell. Here's the look. Check of the runner and the pitch on the way. Line drive base hit center field. Here comes Sale. Round third. Hurrying for home. The ball game is over. The Dodgers win the center.
Pee Wee Reese pushed me in my wheelchair out to the mound. They were going to turn out all the lights and everybody light a match or a candle. And I said, I thank God that I was alive to be able to see this.
There goes Wills, and the throw down, not in time, he steals it. Wills has just stolen his 104th base.
Because I love these guys. They were not only outstanding ball players, but they were tremendous young men. And I really enjoyed being around them. And then they all began to leave the Dodger organization. Bobby Valentine, and then Pashoric, and then Buckner, and then Charlie Huff, and then Lopes. And then along came a new crop of youngsters.
It is 9:46 p.m. 2-2 to Harvey Keene. One strike away. Sandy into his windup. Here's the pitch. Swung out and missed. A perfect game.
Hey everybody, it's me, Rick Acosta, the Dodger Card Collector, coming to you with another video. Today is Friday night actually, June 9th. And that intro music you just heard was from the 1988 World Series on NBC, the Dodgers versus the Oakland A's, right before Game 1. I always loved that little montage they put right before the series started. Right before Game 3 in 1988, they made one for the A's, their first home game in Oakland. But for some reason, that video always stuck with me. And I haven't seen it in a good 30 years. I used to have it on videotape. But I thought it would be good to use for tonight, just because one of the players you heard, whose voice you heard in that video, was Roy Campanella. And I thought I'd do something a little different tonight. And I thought I'd feature my Roy Campanella collection. You all know I'm not really a player collector. I'm more of a Dodger team collector, or I collect vintage sets. But when you accumulate tons of Dodger cards, you're going to end up with player cards from a lot of players on the Dodgers. So I thought tonight it'd be appropriate. I'm in a Roy Campanella type of mood tonight. So I thought, let's show some Roy Campanella cards. We could talk about Roy a little and just appreciate the great player and the great human being that he was. So let's go ahead and take a look at some cards from Roy Campanella. All right, let's get started. You see here the 1949 Bowman rookie card. Roy Campanella moved into the Brooklyn Dodgers minor league system in 1946 as the Dodger organization began preparations to break the MLB color barrier along with Jackie Robinson. His easygoing personality and strong work ethic were credited with his being able to move successfully between the races. Now, although Branch Rickey considered hiring Campanella to break baseball's color barrier, Rickey ultimately decided upon Jackie. The organization sent Campanella and pitcher Don Newcomb to the Nashua Dodgers of Class B in the New England League. The Nashua team thus became the first professional baseball team of the 20th century to field a racially integrated lineup in the United States. Featured here is the 1950 Bowman Roy Campanella. Campanella's 1946 season proceeded largely without racial incidents. And in one game, Campanella assumed the managerial duties after manager Walter Alston was ejected. Campanella was the first African-American to manage white players of an organized professional baseball game. Nashua was down three runs down at the time Campanella took over. They came back to win, in part due to Campanella's decision to use Don Newcombe as a pinch hitter during the 7th inning. Newcombe hit a game-tying 2-run home run. The 1951 Bowman, that's a beautiful card. Look at that pose. That's one of my favorite cards. Campanella was selected to the All-Star game in every year from 1949 through 1946. With his 1949 All-Star selection, he was one of the first 4 African Americans so honored. Jackie Robinson, Don Newcombe, and Larry Doby were also All-Stars in 1949. In 1950, Campanella hit home runs in 5 straight games. The only other Dodgers to home run 5 consecutive games were Sean Green in 2001, Matt Kemp in 2010, Adrian Gonzalez in 2014 and 2015, and Jock Peterson in 2015. The 1952 Bowman, that's another beautiful card. You see the artwork with the background of the clouds and Ebbets Field's right field wall. Campanella received the Most Valuable Player award in the National League 3 times, in 1951, 1953, and 1955. In each of his MVP seasons, he batted more than 300, hit more than 30 home runs, and had more than 100 runs batted in. His 142 RBIs during the 1953 season exceeded the franchise record of 130, which had been held by Jack Fournier in 1925 and Babe Herman in 1930. Today, it's the second most in franchise history, Tommy Davis breaking it with 153 RBIs in 1962. So far, we've seen Bowman cards of Roy Campanella. He made his debut with Topps in 1952. Unfortunately, that is the one Roy Campanella card I do not own. It's a high number. It's pretty expensive. I don't know if I'll be getting it. So for now, I'm going to feature the 1953 Topps card, the year that Roy won his second National League MVP. On May 7th, 1959, the Dodgers, then playing their second season in Los Angeles, honored him with Roy Campanella Night at the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum. The New York Yankees agreed to make a special visit to Los Angeles to play an exhibition game against the Dodgers for the occasion. The Yankees won the Thursday night game 6-2 with an attendance of 93,103, setting a record at that time for the largest crowd to attend a Major League Baseball game. The proceeds from that game went to defray Campanella's medical bills. In 1954 and 1955, Campy did not have a Topps card, but he still had a contract with Topps. So on the left, he appears in his 1954 card, and in 1955 is the card on the right. In January of 1959, the Dodgers named Campy an assistant supervisor of scouting for the Eastern United States and a special coach at the team's annual spring training camp in Vero Beach, Florida, serving each year as a mentor and coached the young catchers in the Dodger organization. I actually remember seeing videos of Campy with guys like Steve Yeager, Mike Scioscia, even Mike Piazza. He came to Dodger spring training every year at Vero Beach, and I heard he was really like one of the popular guys there, and he never stopped mentoring the young catchers. In July of 1969, Campanella was inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, the second player of Black heritage so honored, after Jackie Robinson. Here I'm featuring his 1956 Topps card. That's Roy I thought this was Campanella playing catcher, but that's Roy sliding into home plate. Catcher's number is 8. Don't know if that's supposed to be Yogi Berra, but the 1956 card is a great looking card. On June 4th, 1972, the Dodgers retired Campanella's uniform number 39 alongside Jackie Robinson's number 42 and Sandy Koufax's number 32. Featured here are technically Campy's last two player cards, 1957 Topps on the left, and also from 1957, the Dodgers Slugger card featuring Carl Furillo, Gil Hodges, Duke Snider, and of course, Roy Campanella. In 1978, Campanella moved to California and accepted a job with the Dodgers as assistant to the Director of Community Relations, Don Newcomb, his former teammate and longtime friend. Featured here is Campy's 1959 Topps card, Symbol of Courage. Great card there in the wheelchair. He's got his catcher's mitt. Always with the smile. Campy never stopped smiling. From 1959. After his playing career, Campy still had some more cards that were released by Topps in 1961 and in 1975. Featured here is the 1961 Most Valuable Player card that Campy won in 1951, 1953, and 1955. And on the right, from the 1975 Topps MVP subset, we see cards from 1953. On the left is Al Rosen, and on the right is Roy Campanella. Now, the last two cards I'm going to show you are pretty special. You're going to say, what's the big deal? They're from 1975, and I totally agreed with you. Totally agree there. But I did not know this until I resumed collecting cards again about 10 years ago. Featured here from 1951 is Yogi Berra on the left, Roy Campanella on the right. And the second card on the right here is from 1975 Topps again, featuring the 1955 MVPs. Again, Yogi Berra on the top, Roy Campanella on the bottom. Like I said, what I didn't know until maybe 10 years ago when I got back into collecting, both Campanella cards are fake, or they're not. They're mocked up for this card. Campy didn't have a 51 play ball card or a 1955 Topps card. He had deals with Bowman at that point. So for the 1975 subset, we see Roy Campanella here in a mocked up 1951 play ball card, or the 1951 Topps play ball set, along with his 1955 faux Topps card. Also, if you look at the 1962 Topps card, you'll notice Maury Wills also. He didn't have a card in 1962. So they made up a fake Topps card to feature a mock-up in the 1975 subset. Campy died of a heart attack at the age of 71 on June 26, 1993, at his home in Woodland Hills, California. I was fortunate enough. I was fortunate enough to know about Campy as a child. I saw the made-for-TV movie, It's Good to Be Alive, with Paul Winfield. I think it was Paul Winfield. Loved it. Then I read the book. I had friends who got to meet Campy. He was a regular at Dodger Stadium during the 80s. He would show up, and he had autographed photos, or I want to say either autographed photos or autographed cards that he had signed in black and white. So when kids came up to him, he would give them a photo of himself, and it featured his autograph on there. So I had a friend who met him, said he was really nice, and I was always a little jealous that I wasn't that lucky. But that's Roy Campanella, and I think he's one of the great Dodgers, one of the great players, one of the great catchers in the MLB of all time. And I just thought it would be nice to talk a little about Roy Campanella today. If you stuck with me this long, thanks so much, and we'll talk to you next time. Take care.
It's a beautiful day.